You go to make a cake, but you notice that it is past its expiration date. This may lead you to wonder, can you use a cake mix that expired 2 years ago? Fortunately, boxed cake mix tends to have a long shelf life, which is great for baking needs. The great thing about cake mix is that it's convenient to make as well as delicious. There are many different flavors available, such as vanilla, chocolate, red velvet, funfetti, lemon, pumpkin, and many more. They are great to have on hand so you can bake a cake whenever you'd like. Can you use out-of-date cake mix? So, what happens if you eat an expired cake mix? Well, likely nothing will happen, as it is often safe to use past its expiration date. Using expired cake mix is typically safe to do as long as it is unopened and has been properly stored. It is even safe to use cake mix 2 years after its expiration date. The cake mix likely won't go bad, however, it may begin to lose its flavor and the leavening agents may not work as well. Due to the fact that cake mix contains sugar and artificial preservatives, it is capable of lasting quite a long time. Generally, they will have a best-by date that is between 12 to 18 months and is best used within 4 to 6 months after the expiration date. However, they are safe to consume for 1 or even 2 years after their expiration. The date on the box doesn't mean it will be unsafe to consume afterward. Rather, it refers to the peak time to eat the cake for assured flavor and texture. After 2 years, the ingredients will likely still be safe, however, the flavor may not be as strong and the cake may not rise. If you do plan to use an expired mix, it is best to use it for a snack at home rather than for a birthday cake or a special event. This is a good idea just in case the cake lacks flavor or doesn't rise. Add baking powder or baking soda. If your cake mix expired a couple of years ago, you can add baking powder or baking soda. Since leavening agents lose their potency over time, you want to make up for it to make sure your cake will still rise. Check to see if your cake has baking soda or baking powder in the ingredients. Add a teaspoon or tablespoon of whatever leavening agent the cake has to the mix, depending on how old it is. This will help ensure that it has a proper rise and a wonderful texture. How to store cake mix. For best results, store your cake mix in a cool, dry area such as a pantry. You want to avoid storing it in a warm, moist environment that could potentially lead to mold growth. If you do open the bag, store the mix in an airtight bag or container. You want to be certain that no moisture can get in. How to tell if it has gone bad? Though cake mix rarely actually goes bad, it is important to know what it looks or smells like when it does to reduce the risk of foodborne illness. If you notice any of these signs in it, you will want to just throw it out. If you notice that your mix has mold or a change in appearance, it is no longer good and you should throw it out at once. In addition, do not use it if it has an off smell when you open it up. If you bake a cake with it and notice that the cake has an off or sour smell or does not taste right, throw away the cake. You do not want to risk any illness by eating a cake that is not good. How long does cake last once baked? Once baked, your cake will last 3 to 4 days at room temperature in an airtight container. Be sure to keep your cake in a cool, dry area that is away from direct sunlight. You can also keep your cake in an airtight container in the fridge for up to 7 days for the best results. Cakes also freeze well, which allows you to plan. To freeze a frosted cake, let it sit in the freezer for 1 hour uncovered to let the frosting freeze. Then, you can cover it in a layer of plastic wrap followed by a layer of aluminum foil before returning it to the freezer. Cakes can generally keep in the freezer for 6 months to 1 year. When you are ready to serve your cake, allow it to thaw at room temperature on your counter for around 2 hours or in your fridge overnight. What is in a boxed cake mix? Boxed cake mix contains all the dry ingredients you need to make a cake. It often contains flour, a leavening agent such as baking powder or baking soda, sugar, salt, and preservatives. Depending on the type of cake, it may also contain flavoring such as cocoa powder. Generally, the only ingredients you need to add to the cake mix are water, eggs, and vegetable oil. However, the ingredients you need to add will vary by brand and type of cake. Eating cake mix that expired 2 years ago. It is generally safe to eat a cake that is made from a cake mix that is expired. However, before baking it, you want to check for any signs that it has gone bad. You may need to add some baking powder or baking soda, as over time the leaving agents will lose their potency. Be sure to store your cake mix in a cool, dry area such as a pantry. You want to keep it out of the sun and away from any moisture. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.